The movie commences in the Boston neighborhood where childhood friends Jimmy, Sean, and Dave are playing. They decide to write their names on the wet cement of the sidewalk. Jimmy starts, followed by Sean. However, when Dave is writing his name, a creepy man posing as a cop stops him. The man questions them, learns that Dave doesn't live nearby, and coerces him into the car, pretending to be a cop. Unbeknownst to Jimmy and Sean, Dave is taken away by the creepy man and a priest. Inside the car, a priest smiles at Dave, adding an eerie layer to the situation. They drive away with Dave, leaving Jimmy and Sean confused and distressed. Dave's traumatic experience unfolds as he is locked in a cellar, enduring potential abuse for days. After 4 harrowing days, Dave manages to escape from his captors and return home. Fast forward 25 years, Jimmy, Sean, and Dave have grown into adults leading separate lives. Their childhood bond is weakened over the years. Dave, haunted by the abduction and sexual assault, forms a family but continues to grapple with the lingering trauma. Meanwhile, Jimmy transforms his life for the sake of his daughter, Katie, born from his first wife who has passed away. He is now married to his second wife, and they have 2 young daughters. Sean has become a detective, also married but living apart from his wife and baby. Oddly, his wife remains silent during their calls. As the story unfolds, Katie, Jimmy's daughter, informs him that she's going out with friends. Jimmy grants her permission, and as she leaves, she shares a meaningful look with him, promising to see him later. Katie spends a romantic evening with her secret boyfriend, Kid. They discuss their plans, and she affirms their continuation. Later, Katie and her friends go to a bar to enjoy drinks and dancing. Meanwhile, Dave, also at the bar, recognizes Katie. At midnight, Dave heads home with injuries, a stomach wound, injured hands, and covered in blood. Terrified, he claims it's from a mugger's attack. The next day, Dave's wife finds no news of a dead mugger in the newspaper. A 911 report reveals a car full of blood, prompting concern. Jimmy, worried about Katie, contacts her friend's dad. Kid and his brother search for Katie, but Jimmy, harboring dislike for Kid, provides a false location, claiming Katie is at her sister's communion. Jimmy and his wife attend the communion of their other daughter. Detective Sean and his partner investigate Katie's missing car, leading them to find her lifeless body in a church. Concerned for his daughter, Jimmy follows police cars to the crime scene. Upon seeing Katie's car, Jimmy is consumed with worry and questions Detective Sean about Katie's fate. Sean, unable to provide an answer, confirms Katie's death. Devastated, Jimmy heads to the police station to verify if the deceased body is indeed Katie.
Isn't my daughter there? No!
After confirmation, Sean and his partner ask Jimmy for details, noting the peculiar look Katie gave him the day before, implying she wouldn't see him again. The partner also uncovers Jimmy's past imprisonment for robbery. The following day, mourners visit Jimmy's family home, including Dave and his wife. Dave's wife, suspicious due to Dave coming home covered in blood the night Katie was murdered, gives him concerned looks. Detectives inquire with an elderly neighbor near the crime scene, learning she heard a woman's voice and a gunshot. The partner speculates that Katie might have known her murderer. The detectives question Katie's friends about their goodbye party and Vegas plans. The friends admit Katie intended to leave for a new life in Vegas with her secret boyfriend. Jimmy visits Dave, noticing his injuries and inquiring about them. Dave claims they were accidental. Jimmy, overwhelmed with grief, begins to sob, grappling with the sudden loss of Katie. Meanwhile, detectives interrogate Kid regarding their plans to go to Vegas. Upon learning of Katie's death, Kid becomes emotional and confirms the plan to go to Vegas on Sunday. During questioning, Kid states he was asleep during the time of Katie's murder. The detectives, unsatisfied, ask Kid to undergo a polygraph test, which he passes. Sean receives a call from his wife, who still refuses to speak, expressing his frustration at the inability to bring back the victims despite solving cases. The detectives receive the polygraph test results, indicating Kid's innocence. They shift focus to people at the bar on Saturday night, leading them to Dave. During questioning, they notice Dave's hand injuries and inquire about anything unusual at the bar. Dave denies noticing anything and lies about his whereabouts during Katie's death, claiming he came home at 1 a.m. The detectives discuss the case, and the partner suggests focusing on Dave, as Katie knew him, and he was in the bar that night with hand injuries. Meanwhile, Jimmy vows to find the murderer before the police and take matters into his own hands. The detectives visit Jimmy's house and encounter Dave. The partner questions Dave about his wounds, and Dave claims they came from a garbage disposal. Unconvinced, Sean discreetly asks Dave's wife about the time he came home on Saturday night. She lies, saying she was asleep and doesn't know. The wife walks away, appearing agitated, signaling potential inconsistencies in Dave's alibi. The investigation continues. The detectives inquire with Jimmy about his hatred towards Kid. Jimmy reveals that he despises Kid's father, Just Ray, for abandoning his family, leading him to believe Kid might follow the same path. Back at the headquarters, the ballistic report arrives, linking the gun used to murder Katie to a past liquor store robbery associated with Just Ray, Kid's father. The liquor store owner, a former employee of Just Ray, implies that Just Ray owned the gun. An argument ensues between the detectives, as Sean wants to refocus on Kid, while his partner insists Dave remains a suspect, considering the ease of passing guns around. Dave, watching a vampire movie, confronts his wife about her whereabouts, leading to a tense conversation. Dave admits seeing Katie in the bar before her death, and he opens up about his childhood trauma of being molested, expressing his trust issues with his own mind. He describes himself as a walking undead, likening his trauma to a vampire. Dave takes a walk outside, encountering Jimmy, and confesses that he saw Katie in the bar before her death. The next day, the partner informs Sean about finding blood matching Dave's and Katie's blood types in Dave's car. They interrogate Dave, but he claims his car was reported missing and wasn't in his possession. Sean insists on focusing on Just Ray's gun, leading to Dave's release. The detectives delve into Just Ray's record, discovering his criminal association with Jimmy and his arrest for robbery without serving jail time. The investigation continues to uncover connections between Just Ray, Jimmy, and the murder of Katie. The detectives decide to question the arresting officer to learn more about Just Ray. The officer reveals that Just Ray implicated Jimmy, leading to Jimmy's incarceration instead of Just Ray. After Jimmy is released from jail, Just Ray mysteriously disappears, hinting at Jimmy seeking revenge. Meanwhile, Jimmy and his thug friends confront Dave's wife at their home. She informs Jimmy about leaving Dave due to his recent strange behavior. Tearfully, she shares that Dave came home covered in blood the night Katie was murdered. Jimmy inquires about Dave's explanation, and she recounts Dave's story of killing a mugger, but there's no news about the supposed mugger. Jimmy probes further, asking if she believes her husband killed Katie. She affirms her suspicion. In the police headquarters, the detectives interrogate Kid about his father, Just Ray. Kid reveals he hasn't spoken to his father since he left for a drink and never returned. Despite Kid and his mother not considering Just Ray missing, Sean informs Kid that his father's gun was used in Katie's murder. Kid denies seeing his father with a gun, leaving Sean frustrated. The detectives analyze the 911 tape, suggesting that the boy who reported the car might be involved in Katie's death. Simultaneously, Jimmy and his friends pick up Dave from the street and invite him for drinks at the bar. As they drink, Jimmy arrives to join them. Night falls, and Dave, feeling tipsy, goes outside to vomit near Mystic Riverside, followed by Jimmy and his thug friends. Jimmy, sharing a riverbank drink with Dave, recounts the story of Just Ray, revealing he killed him for betraying him. Jimmy thinks Dave murdered Katie, but Dave nervously confesses to killing a man molesting a boy, not Katie. Jimmy, unconvinced due to inconsistencies, promises to spare Dave if he admits to Katie's murder. Dave falsely confesses, claiming Katie reminded him of a youth he never had. Dave explains to Jimmy that entering the abductor's car during their childhood accident is the key to understanding. Jimmy stabs and fatally shoots Dave. Meanwhile, Kid discovers his father's missing gun, realizing his brother and friend used it to kill Katie. Kid brutally attacks the friend, who confesses. Kid confronts his brother, and the friend points the gun at him. Detectives arrive, preventing further violence. The next day, Jimmy, in a drunken state, encounters Sean. Sean reveals they caught the killers, Kid's brother and friend, who accidentally shot Katie while playing with the gun. Kid's brother then killed Katie to silence her. Jimmy, shocked, learns he killed Dave for a crime he didn't commit. Sean questions Jimmy about Dave, as the police search for him following the discovery of a child molester's body behind the bar. This revelation confirms Dave's innocence. When Sean asks Jimmy about the last time he saw Dave, Jimmy recalls the abductors taking Dave away in the car. Sean questions what Jimmy did to Dave, and Jimmy, grateful for finding the killer, wishes the resolution had come faster. Sean realizes Jimmy likely killed Dave and asks if he'll continue sending money to Dave's family, as he did for Kid's father. Sean and Jimmy part ways, and Sean receives a call from his wife, who finally speaks. The movie concludes during the Boston parade, where Sean reunites with his family. Dave's wife searches for her son, who refuses to speak to her. Jimmy finds comfort from his wife, and they watch the parade together. Sean, on the other side of the street, signals to Jimmy that he will come after him. The names of the 3 friends remain on the sidewalk, but Dave's name remains half written. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you want to watch more videos like this. Thank you for watching and see you again soon. Take care.